Hi there and welcome to Light Illustration. This is an anatomy tutorial for character drawing, and today we're going to talk about the face. Usually the head is the part of the body that the artists control the most. It's also one of the most characteristic parts with the most amount of detail, with things like hair, mouth, or one of the all-time favorite, the eyes. A lot of artists struggle with the amount of time they put on the faces and the work they put on the rest of the body of the characters. And that's why I left the face for last. If you saw my other videos, you might have already mastered the skill of drawing a dummy in any pose that you can imagine and making some easy hands that can hold almost anything. If that's the case, I would love to help you out with the face. This time, we're also keeping it simple. Most of us, when we start our drawing journey, we have already been exposed to a lot of drawing styles in books, comics, or movies. It's normal for all of us to find other artists' styles appealing, and we can't help but to make a huge mix of their references that will end up shaping our own style. But a lot of these artists that we admire began learning how to draw real anatomy before they ended up with their specific style. And most of their style characteristics have a base on this anatomy, even though that we don't recognize that thing as anatomically accurate. What I want from you in this case is to pay good attention at the human face. Its muscles do something that is very interesting, and it's telling the world how we think and feel. We're going to draw the face of our character in the easiest way possible and try to get the most expressivity out of it. So let's begin. The face has a lot of variants, and since there's a lot of different ethnicities in the human race, there are some distances and measurements that cannot be considered average. On the other hand, we do share some regular characteristics. When drawing the shape of the head, if we divide it in two, the eyes are placed right above the middle. The distance between the eyes and the hair is similar to the one between the eyes and the mouth. If we divide the face in three, the nose is right above the lower division and its width begins in between the eyes. The space between the lips and nose is smaller than the one between the lips and the chin. The ears start around the height of the lips and end a little over the eyes. Now that we know some of the face characteristics, I want you to draw the easiest face that you can. But remember to keep it anatomically accurate. Like the easy body that we made in the first video and the mittens that we did when drawing the hands, this face has to be simple so we can draw it as many times as possible without losing ourselves into detail. In my case, I do some basic head shape with circle and the jaw. I'll divide it so I can easily place the hairline, eyes, nose, and mouth. And I'll draw them with simple lines, not caring about lips, lashes, or any other detail. A simple dummy face that later on can be turned into anyone. As I told you last time, there's nothing better than a mirror for face and hands references. But if you don't have it, that's okay, because we're going to take a different path this time. For this exercise, I want you to find memes. Get to YouTube, TikTok, Google Images, and find some good old memes that showcase unique expressions. My advice? Get videos and find the exact frame that makes you say, yes, this is the face. You can also work with movies, TV series, and so. But the main goal here is to push the expression to the max. Working with this easy face will help us get used to get ugly and extreme with expressions. Because many artists who are starting are afraid to push it because they fear their characters will look ugly. And they end up losing all their personalities. It's normal that we do a character that looks good in a specific expression, and it's okay to draw characters that are stone cold serious. But as an artist, you should be able to showcase a bigger range of emotions. Also, just like with the body, you should try a different points of view. Help yourself with references and start working with points of view that are more unusual. Make sure that you end up having a lot of expressions before we get to the next step. If you think you're done by drawing 4 or 5 faces, think about all the different scenes that you will have to draw as a comic artist or animator. Would you say 5 are enough? Maybe you can check some other artists' expression sheets from movies to get inspired. This one, for instance, is by Jim Kim from Moana. Also, I want to keep in mind that not all the characters should get angry, happy or sad in the same way. Would you draw the laughter of a very shy person the same way you would draw the laughter of a very outgoing one? Do some research with personality traits and try to get a nice amount of expressions to your different characters. I'm going to draw 2 characters with the same easy shapes, so you can spot their personalities. Would you say that we can tell what kind of people these 2 are? Why don't you apply that to your characters? Give them some feelings and use their expressions as a way of showcasing their personality. After we've drawn some faces, we'll be ready to use some personal style. But for now, you might have noticed that after drawing this much, there's been something going on already. Think about this. Do you think that all the people who do these exercises end up with exact same doodles? Of course not. And that's because you have already some style going on. Now it's time to push it wherever you want to. The only thing that I will teach you about the style is to try to keep it consistent. With this, I don't mean you to try to draw all the time the same. Styles evolve, especially the more you draw. What I mean is that you should understand why some things are drawn in a specific way. And if you want to make some style rules, you shouldn't break them yourself. Remember that we saw that in the other styles, like in Sailor Moon, people have longer legs. If that's your style choice, you should keep it, but remember not to break it yourself. Keeping it with the manga artists, instead of drawing the nose, what they draw is the shadow that the nose casts next to it. On the Witch comic series by Elisabetta Known, Alessandro Barbucci and Barbara Canepa, the characters have a similar technique. You can tell that with some characters, what they drew was not a round nose, but the shadow casted by the zone of the nose that faced down. The main characters had all small noses and shared a similar design, but if we see some characters with bigger and different noses, you can see that they also share the shadow casting, that it's a style choice. Understanding anatomy and the basics of drawing will help you out understanding the style and drawing choices of your favorite creators, and will help you out developing your own art. As a final exercise, I would like you to pick a drawing that you did following any of these exercises. And I would like you to make it again after having worked with the pose dummy, the hand mittens, and the face expression sheet. Now that you have all that practice and knowledge, why don't you choose a more difficult pose that maybe you wouldn't be ready to have tried out before? Make that character holding something on its hands that showcases what was going on. Give it a cool expression that shows the way it feels. For sure you will get a nice before and after. If you do this exercise, please tag me with Lion Illustration on your Instagrams and Twitter so I can see your drawings and give you some extra advice. This was all for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this anatomy tutorial for characters. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any doubts or any more video suggestions, feel free to leave it in the comments. Please like this series if you have enjoyed it and you want me to keep making videos. And if you don't want to miss any other tutorials, don't forget to click the bell. Thanks again for watching and see you guys next time.